Welcome back, it's me, Lou. I'm here for another action figure unboxing and review, and today we are looking at the Marvel Legends Spider-Man Morlun action figure. And we have Morlun right here. To be honest, I'm very unfamiliar with this comic book character. I haven't really read Spider-Man in some years now. When it comes to the comic books, I'm more about the X-Men, so couldn't tell you too much about this character other than what's written on his bio, which we have right here. Let's get this into focus. All right. From the darkness, the vampire Morlun, what does that say? Hunts Spider-Man in an effort to slay the superhero and feed on his powers. So it sounds like Morlun is very, I guess, vampire-like. For some reason, I want to say that I think he's an important character in one of the current storylines. I think it's like the Spider-Verse trilogy, but I might be wrong on that. Here's some artwork. I believe, I want to say this illustration on the side might be done by artist Mike Diodata, I think. Might be wrong on that, though. And he comes with a Build-A-Figure piece so you can make Armadillo, which is right there. It looks really cool. This was a line of figures that I remember when it hit the stores. It was, for me anyways, I had a hard time finding any of these action figures. The Spider-Man figures especially were difficult for me to come across. I never saw J. Jonah Jameson in the store. If I saw the Miles Morales, I'd love to get that. Big fan of that character. The Build-A-Figure piece for Armadillo looks really cool, actually. Kind of makes me want to hunt down the other pieces and build a figure. Okay, so we have Morlun here. Very sinister looking villain. Much like his description describes him as. Very vampire-like, red eyes, very pale skin, nice devious smirk. As you can see, you capture him under the right light, and you really bring out his facial features. Nice, beautiful sculpting on the jawline and the face. Likewise, the hair is really well done. His coat is kind of like a dark gray, with his vest being a nice silver sheen and a light blue for his scarf and shirt. And it looks like he has a red bloodstone beneath his collar. His cuffs are a nice shade of gray, likewise with his slacks. Beautiful figure all around. His hands kind of has the splayed out claws, which I like. And as you can see, there's... Oh, okay. Right, so I don't know too much about the character, but for a second I was going to say that, those were drops of blood. But if I had to guess, I'm assuming this is how he feeds. It looks like maybe he feeds through his hands, as opposed to the standard vampire where they bite you on the neck. So I'm guessing his hands are probably more so like, they have the suckers on the inside of his palm. Yeah, nice, beautiful looking figure. Like I said, I don't know too much about the character, but it's a really well done. Articulation, his head rotates. Does he look down? He looks down a little bit. Now, I'm guessing in terms of looking up, it might be hindered because of the hair in the back, and I'd be right. Doesn't really want to look up. His coat, it's all one piece. At first I was thinking that the coat and the vest were separate, but This seems to be a giant sleeve placed over the torso. Arms rotate, they go out, bicep cut, double pinned exposed elbows, or exposed pins on the elbow. Articulated wrists. Does he have an ab crunch? This guy is not very photogenic with my camera. Kind of crunches a little bit forward. Kind of arches back a little bit. Nice swivel waist motion. His legs kick up about this much. Articulated at the thigh with a thigh cut. Exposed double pinned knees. Articulated ankle. So if you're a fan of vampires, or if you're a fan of the character, I think this would be a cool figure to add to your collection. I think he looks pretty neat. I like the hands a lot. I think they're really awesome. Now, one thing I noticed about this figure when I first saw it at the store, actually one of the reasons why I bought this figure to begin with is, so I've seen this figure a couple of times in the store, but I always pass on it, just because I'm not familiar with this character. But I purchased this recently at my local Meijer, and the only reason why I purchased it was because it was on sale. It was marked down, I think it was almost like half price. But then one of the things that caught my eye about this figure also is that I believe it shares similar pieces to the Hellfire Club figures. This is the Hellfire Club Donald Pierce figure, which was part of, I think, the San Diego exclusive Hellfire Club box set. And this figure in the box set, there was also this and Sebastian Shaw, and I believe they share the same bodies. The only thing difference, one's a repaint of the other, or vice versa. And I believe this figure mold was used again in the recent Amazon exclusive Wolverine. I think it was like a 5-pack. Had Cyber, Callisto, bare-shirted or bare-chested Wolverine, and I think it came with Jason Wingard in the Hellfire Club outfit, much like this. So when I saw this figure, I'm like, I think it's the same figure as this one. But then upon closer examination, there's some similar pieces, but there's also some differences. Let's get this into focus. So as you can see, they both share similar. The pelvis area is the same. The upper leg piece seems to be the same. The thigh and knees are the same. But then once you come to the legs, this one has the longer slacks, whereas this one kind of has the old school colonial kind of like Victorian pants. When you come up to the top, I assumed that they had the same coats, but they're actually different. So Donald Pierce here has a much more Victorian era coat with the propped collar or lapel. He has a scarf here, and when you lift this, you can see that the sculpting here on the jacket's completely different. Donald Pierce has the decorative sculpting on his vest, but he has, if you'll also notice, he has a hole here at the pit of his neck where it looks like, you could attach a tie, which is kind of like baffles me a little. But I think that's because this is actually a separate piece. So their actual upper chest is its own piece, whereas the vest is actually a sleeve that covers over it, much like this one here. But as you can tell, different vest pieces. Different cuffs also, as you can see right there. He has the ruffles, whereas this one's a little bit, has that tail towards the top of the cuff back there. Yeah, so this is kind of like Marvel Legends Fashion Show week. So, do I recommend this figure? If you're a fan of Spider-Man and you want to build up his rogue gallery, definitely get this guy. Or if you're just a fan of the character in general, if you're a fan of vampires, this definitely fits the bill. He's very vampiric in his nature and his look. Get some decent poses with him. He seems like he has a much more updated Marvel Legends body as opposed to some of the suited figures we've had in the past. I think that looks great. Nice figure. Great base body too for a custom. So if you're in the market for creating a new custom and you want a cool body, I think this is one worth checking out. And then, of course, he comes with an extra head. Let's take a look at this. Alternate portrait. A little bit more sinister. This kind of looks like the guy that the face he'll have when he greets you at the door. And then once you're drunk at the dinner table and he's about to feed on you, this is the face that he's going to give you. A little bit more menacing. His mouth and I think his teeth are exposed. It's hard to tell here. Doesn't really have fangs, but he's exposing his teeth. So yeah, different looks, different expressions. Cool character. So if I had to rate this guy on a scale of 1 to 10, I'd give Morlun easy 8 to 8.5. You know, I think it's a nice figure. Again, if you want to build up your rogue gallery of Spider-Man villains, you know, you definitely need to add him to your collection. He's not as well renowned as, like, you know, some of the characters from like the Sinister Six and like Spider-Man's, you know, classic gallery of rogues, but this guy's very relevant in the comic books currently, and I think he's, you know, this is a pretty standout action figure. I think this figure might have been a sleeper figure. Alright, yeah, so let's wrap this up. Once again, my name is Lou. If you're new to my channel, welcome. If you are a returning subscriber or viewer, thank you so much for continued likes, comments, and support. I greatly appreciate it. So until the next video, be safe, take care of yourself, buy lots of toys, and most importantly, be happy. And I'll see you at the next one. Alright, later.